Cryptillions and crypto crackheads. Today is still Tuesday, March 30th, 2021, and you're about to get Timified. So new viewers, I'm going to try to summarize this more quickly now, but this is not a normal crypto YouTube channel. I don't think there's another one out there like it. I am not going to sit here and read white papers. I'm not going to shill coins. I'm not going to tell you how bullish I am on Harmony One or anything like that. I'm not going to do interview CEOs, nothing like that, to try to get people to buy stuff and make you so excited about anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to help you maximize your profits in this bull market, which will very, very, very likely be over. The party will likely be over around December this year or January 2022 coming up. So I'm going to try to help you see the market for what it is. So when you're clicking around, you have confidence doing it and you take profits like a boss. That's what we're here to do, because white papers don't help you gain money. They don't tell you when to sell, right? They don't tell you when to buy. None of the news does that. You can see it here in the charts, and then my channel is to try to help you see that. You don't need news. You don't need it. You can see it in the numbers, right? So that's what this channel is about. So if you like what you see here, and feel free to watch this on 1.5 or 2 times speed, 1.75, so you can get through all the content more quickly and move on and keep educating yourself or getting your crypto crackhead fix of crypto. But feel free to do that. Also, if I say anything in the video that is not familiar to you, I have a library section in the description section, which I think should cover almost anything I say that might sound foreign, like EMA, exponential moving average, 20 bags, which means taking profit of that one specific coin, not your whole portfolio, stuff like that. It's in the description section, library video. The most important one in there, though, is the market cycle and crashes video. If you're new and you don't know that the party's going to be over soon, that's the most, like, you should seriously stop watching me now and go look at it. But anyway, that's my spiel. Here we go. Cryptillion and crypto crackheads, are you ready for the altcoin video of the day? All right, let's rock and roll. Here we go. So, BEPRO. All right. This is what BEPRO looks like when you're zoomed out. We haven't done this for a while. This line here is January 1st-ish. So this is the end of the year. This is the end of the party. Or very statistically, like, it could be like 99% likely that it's around that. And for all you people who think, but it's different this time. Yeah, I know, but that actually means it's the same, because it's been different every time. So that means it's actually the same. It's always been different every bull run. Yeah, institutional money is something different, but there's always been something different in the mix. But anyway, so this is BEPRO zoomed out. And something I have forgotten to do to help build your perspective on why I keep saying this line is out of play, right? Or I keep saying soon this green line will be out of play, like price won't keep playing off of the whole year, and why I think all of these lines actually will be out of play for some point, and price of BEPRO will play under it and will form some type of new trend lines, right? So this helps you see that a little bit better, right? So, you know, I think you can see very clearly why this, I mean, can you see pretty, okay, so if this is the end of the year, and if you were to drag this up, BEPRO would be like worth more than Bitcoin. Does that make sense why that's out of play? Right? And why I keep saying, yeah, that's probably the only time it'll ever hit it ever, and it'll never touch it again for the rest of eternity. Does that make sense? Because if it does keep touching it, that means BEPRO's price will be so high that there's more money in it than exists in the entire world of all economies combined. So this run that we had was just so strong that it formed that trend line, but it won't be sustained, right? It's got to cool its tits for a while, like big ice cubes. Even if your nipples are small, they're big ice cubes. It doesn't matter how big your nipples are. Big ice cubes melt more slowly. It will be cooling its tits for longer. So that's why. And so repeat that idea for things like, gosh, I hope I don't mess up my trend. I'm probably going to mess up my trend line. So I'll do this more like this. You know, if you extend this, try to extend it like that, even the bottom trend line. Look, by the end of the year with the bottom trend line, BEPRO would be worth like $588. And I think that would make its market cap bigger than Bitcoin. So just right here, since this is logarithmic, so even though this doesn't look like a lot from $6, it is, right? Because so look where my cursor is, 17 to 50, right? So each of these blocks is the same distance, okay? Right? Like the distance away from each other. However, look, this from this line to this line, it's only 20 cents. But it keeps getting bigger and bigger values. From this line to this line, it's $220. It's $220. The same distance, right? So this looks deceiving, but it's logarithmic. And honestly, you should be using a logarithmic chart if you're not. And I think the button for that's down here where my cursor is going. You need to make sure that's clicked. So that's why I keep saying so what would BEPRO be? Yeah. So if it kept playing, if BEPRO fell under the bottom line, which it's over right now healthily, if it stayed playing with it throughout the whole year. So I mean, this is just this year, right? Anything before this line is this year. If it keeps playing with it, that means it'll be bigger than Bitcoin by the end of the year, which means that's not going to happen. It's not even close going to be happen, right? Does this make sense? I've gotten a lot of questions on that, and I realized, shit, I didn't I didn't describe this very well. So sometimes zoom out, makes you realize we have some big ice cubes right here, right now. And this is more reason. So if I can zoom in here, let's go to the 4 hour here. That's the reason why I keep saying we're probably going to hit this line. And then we'll probably go up and play with that line again. But once it hits this line and something like that, the likelihood of it being the last or the second to last. So a lot of times when you have a screamer up, you come back down, you test it one more time, and then you come back down to cool your tits. A lot of times it'll play it twice. And I'm actually a little surprised it only played this line once, but it was a hyper aggressive line. But once we got down here, I knew, like, with almost 100% certainty that this is out of play forever. And it is. Like, that's not going to happen. So anyway, so over time though, you know, as we keep marching along and BEPRO keeps marching along the whole year, you know, it'll do this, you know, maybe test it one more time and then come down, cool its tits. Then this will be its new thing, you know, here. And by that time we're at 22 cents, right? That's 10x. And then it'll cool its tits for a while, And that's not far in the future. I mean, look where we're at, folks. Look. Just that's later next month. 10x. Or no. In 2 months. That's within 2 months. Look, we can't even look. The line's way over there. So you know, if you want to get a general idea of, you know, maybe BEPRO's movement, it'll, you know, something like this, then it'll come up and test this bottom line, maybe test it twice, then cool its tits, maybe have some real, you know, and honestly, I don't think it's going to do it this fast. But if it's going to go to $6, which is probably a little bit too ambitious to be guessing, you can see that it's still this, because this bottom line. So see how it's the bottom line here? Even the bottom line will be well out of play. It ain't going to stay in play for very long, right? Even to get to $6, then you're playing with some less slope line. And $6, I mean, it's super unlikely BEPRO gets that high this run. Now, the run of, assuming the 4-year cycles maintain their integrity, BEPRO getting up to $6 and by December 2025, I mean, as long as that project keeps kicking ass the way it is, yeah, I mean, that would actually be pretty easy for it. And if they can even achieve, you know, a quarter of what they're wanting to achieve, maybe, you know, a quarter or half of their goals by then, I mean, I think it would probably pass $6 by that point, fairly easily. But as you know, and this doesn't apply, I'm not talking about BEPRO anymore, I'm talking about everything, Cardano, everything. And this is why Cardano is such a bad bet, folks. Like 98% of businesses fail within I think it's like a 5-year time frame. Within a 1-year time frame, it's like 90. Do you know where Cardano is on that time scale, it's still at 0. It hasn't even started. It hasn't sold its first thing yet. It's literally just they're using your money, your investor money, to keep the lights on. It hasn't even ticked the first second of being a business yet. They're still in planning mode and using your money to fund their planning for 5 years running. And they're going to change Africa, although they haven't done anything yet. Why are you buying that? Seriously. Anyway, so, I mean, why do you keep making somebody a billionaire? Like, just, gee whiz. Anyway, so BEPRO, nothing's changed since my last videos. I'm not feeling a long-winded tirade in me this time, even though my last 2 videos I said nothing's changed, and then I talked about stuff for like an hour. I think we're good here. So I wanted to zoom out and show you that is why those lines will be out of play, okay? Let's look at what it is on BTC, though. Let's go to the weekly. Let's see what has happened on the weekly. Okay, so the length of time that it'll cool its tits, it'll probably coincide with this. So that's the 10 EMA. Look at my charting video in the description section if that doesn't make sense. Price will probably keep cooling its tits until it hits that, and maybe comes up and then hits it again, and then really bounce off. I mean, so it could be late May. It could be that long. And honestly, the way that it would shorten it is if Bitcoin really takes off and Bitcoin were to go up and BEPRO price stayed around 2 cents, which means on this chart, see where my cursor is? This is versus BTC. So if BEPRO price stayed at 2 cents while Bitcoin goes up, it would actually make red candles and it would touch this line faster. And then that would convert more sellers to buyers once that happens, and it would start screaming a little faster. Right? So anything between those 2 scenarios, that's a rough guesstimate. So when would that happen? So the week of April 12th. I think that's a Sunday. So the week of Monday, April 13th. I think if that's right, if I'm looking at this right, would be the earliest I would say. And then perhaps as late as, what did I say? Perhaps as late as mid-late May. May 17th, something like that. It could cool its tits for a while. And I think the timing on it will probably have to do with the BTC pairing. So if you want to, so if you're playing multiple coins in your portfolio, which actually I might pull up coins in my portfolio here soon, just to be first off transparent, but also to help you adjust, to help you see how I think about trading altcoins, right? Actually, I will pull that up. I think I have it ready for you. But anyway, if you're playing around with multiple altcoins and you're trying to figure out, okay, when do I put some of my 20 bags back into BEPRO? Because I have them somewhere else and I'm playing breakouts and this and that, and I'm just waiting on BEPRO to start getting bullish again, and then I'll buy more BEPRO, which is actually kind of what I'm doing, because I really like the project. Yeah, I'm gonna ride this one, even though I can't stake anymore. I wish I could, but anyway, I think staking's maxed out overall. But anyway. Yeah, I think BEPRO, I'm going to try to accumulate even, let's see, anything under 10 cents. Like once it's here, I'll just ride it. I'll just hodl it. But I'm going to try to accumulate with screamers and dips. I'm going to try to buy dips and sell ranges and buy more dips, and I'll accumulate BEPRO. Until it hits about 10 cents, then I will focus my energy, which I should cover this now. I will begin focusing my energy, keeping my hodl bags in my, like a main account of KuCoin that I don't touch, I don't look at, I don't pull up charts for it. I'm just done until I get my exit strategy. That's probably my plan with this. So while we're on this topic, before I scream through all these other coins on the right side here, if I can move my... See, like all those over there. I'm going to try to fly through those. But one thing I want to do here, and I've seen a couple, and, you know, I wouldn't even call them trolls, you know, and I think they have fair points, because I have this idea and feeling about a lot of YouTubers who talk about altcoins. I really think that what they're doing is they're buying 5 or $10,000 or $20,000 or whatever of an altcoin, and then they review it and try to get the CEO on, or maybe not even the CEO, just talk about it. I think a lot of the people doing the interviews, I don't think they're doing that. Like most of the people who are doing interviews, I have a feeling that their level of integrity is pretty high. I think their intent is good, even though I feel that white papers don't help you take profits. They don't tell you when to take profits. I just have my thoughts on that, but you should supplement your crypto crackhead fixes with something like this in terms of clicking around with money, not just buying and praying. But yeah, I think most of the people who interview CEOs and stuff, and that's their business model as a YouTuber. I think all the ones I've seen, I think they have good intents, and I don't think they're buying stuff and then you know, selling it once they're 300,000 subscribers are buying it and it goes 5x. I don't think that's happening on most of them. But that's a lot different than the majority of YouTubers who are just shillers. They sit there and review coins all time, and they're not even trying to get interviews and establish themselves as a guru. So that's what I'm trying to say here is I think a lot of people who are just the shillers, I think their level of integrity could be in question. I don't want to say that for fact, but I know that's a thought process many people have. And I've seen people come on my channel with that thought process, and I don't delete their messages. They have a freaking point. They have a point. You don't know. You don't know if I'm sitting here trying to use you as a community to freaking screw you. You don't know, right? I think my Patreon community knows that because I've shared more intimate information with them. Oh yeah. Follow up on that. I said to my Patreons, hey, I let them know about potential breakout. I think it was OLT. And I said, hey, I will, you know, wait a certain amount of minutes before I even buy after I make this post. And I will show you a snapshot of the timestamps of when I bought. I never actually bought more. Because I think I was focused on something else. It might have been Play. No, Play is too recent. Gosh, well, it might have been a BEPRO dip. I think I used it to do a BEPRO dip because I really would prefer just to accumulate BEPRO. And I don't know. I just have a good feeling about BEPRO. I think that's what happened. But yeah, I actually did end up buying. So, and honestly, I haven't moved stuff around for a bit, with exception of Play. So when I did announce Play to people, I should probably post that, patrons. I should let you know, so you can compare when I posted it versus when I bought it. Timestamps. I owe you that. You need to see that. And I'm surprised. Well, I haven't really checked a lot of messages and a lot of the comments, so maybe somebody did request it. But if no one requests that, you should. If you're following somebody, you know, following somebody else or whatever, and like stuff like that happens, they give you tips or whatever, and like you should demand to see. Maybe not how much money they have in it. Don't demand that, but like demand to see some damn timestamps. I would. Absolutely. So I will post that here a little later. But anyway, so to the point though, these are but this is only my KuCoin account, right? So I have like a lot of Viacoin that I've accumulated over the several years since, I mean, hell, I was even accumulating in 2018 when it still hadn't found a bottom. That was stupid, but whatever. I just kept buying, and I guess dollar cost averaging, which a lot of other YouTubers who they don't know much about price, they do say that, and that's smart. It's not 100% optimal, but it's not a bad plan. But anyway, so this is just my KuCoin account, and I think KuCoin is the small alt, so small alt or micro altcoin capital of the world. Okay, you might say Uniswap and PancakeSwap. Okay, yeah. But I said gem, or I think I should have said gem. The small cap altcoin gem, if I could freaking speak. KuCoin is the small cap altcoin gem capital of the world. Okay, and if you're thinking Uniswap or PancakeSwap, I said gem. They don't vet. Almost 100% of all crypto scams that are out there are on those swap sites. I'm not saying almost 100% on those sites are scams. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying among all the scams in crypto, which might be 3%, 5% of the tickers you see, hell, it could be like 8 to 10. In 2017, it was close to 10%. One of the CEOs of the scam companies, actually, in 2017, after he ran with everybody's money before they knew it, the way he had the balls to let them know they just got fucked. Sorry, my language. Sorry, I try not to drop F-bombs, but the way he let them know that they just got screwed was, I think he did a picture of only his feet, as he was like, you know, the beach was out that way, and he took a picture with his margarita and his feet in the picture, and he let the viewers know, exit strategy complete. And then he had somebody around that time of the post, or he shut down the website right around the time. But yeah, website not found, and yeah, he was the only one that was ballsy. But yeah, like in 2017, about 10% were fake, and about 10% of the exchanges even got hacked somehow at the height of the bull market, or just a little bit after everything was screaming down, but still really hot compared to just 5 months ago. Somehow about 10% got hacked so severely that they couldn't sustain the losses. Therefore, they closed it down. Now, PancakeSwap, Uniswap, all that stuff, I think those are decentralized exchanges. I mean, it could. I think the security check and balance there is a little better. But you all folks who are new to this space, I mean, you're lucky. This bull run is like, even though you have chest pounding and Omi this and like all this, like, and Cardano's another, like, still a hype coin after 5 years of promises with no delivery. Even though I complain about some of those things, you are very fortunate you're coming to this run. Last run was freaking stupid, and maybe, since I really didn't start paying attention till September of that run, which is really late, maybe just the stupid hasn't started yet. So, so if stupid happens, I'm going to let you know something stupid's happening. But as of now, you're very lucky to be here. Like, this is a really good bull run. Good exchanges. Not a whole lot of scams I'm seeing, because I don't look at Uniswap coins, stuff like that. But anyway, okay. So I need to get to the point here. So okay, so this is just my KuCoin account. I have a lot of 𝐼𝐿Coin somewhere else. You know, I have I'm staking Deep Onion, you know, and those are my two chest pounding coins. I am definitely not necessarily suggesting those coins to you. I've held them for a while, accumulated for them a while. I have no logical, well, actually with 𝐼𝐿Coin I do. I have a logical reason why I'm bullish on that. But most of my viewers know that by now. I wouldn't necessarily suggest entering 𝐼𝐿Coin now. Okay, because it's been really hot. Okay. Please, because if you enter a hot coin, the chance of you being 20% down within 24 hours or 7 days or whatever is fairly high. Safe entries. But anyway, but long term, like even to the 4th of July, I think it's going to 10x. But anyway, so, and I'm almost certain, like I think it's house odds that it will, like 10, 13, maybe between $8 to $13 by July 4th of this year. And I think it's right at $1.30 now. And as I was talking about it 2 weeks ago, it was only 70 cents. As I tried to give people the heads up, I was bullish, and that was a good entry. But anyway, so I have other coins elsewhere. This is just what I have on KuCoin, if I could freaking think. So the point of my pulling this up is, I guess, a little transparency. So, you know, per a lot of those comments that aren't really trolls, I mean, they have a damn good point, right? But so that's the first part. But the second more important part is how I'm thinking about my portfolio, how I'm thinking about it. And, you know, just pulling this up and analyzing what I'm doing, I am, you know, all this is all risky on it, obviously. But my current KuCoin portfolio, plus 𝐼𝐿Coin and Deep Onion, because I'm not touching them. Like, I'm hodling them until December. Like, my ratio of hodl-ish, so I'm not even looking at these a lot. I'm not actively trading these. Even though, for example, you know, I have a little BEPRO here and a little BEPRO here, a little AXPR here. So this is like my attempt to accumulate. I'm 20 bagging, buying dips, selling the top of ranges, right? So I'm doing that with, so I'm 20 bagging this. What other has a copy? I'm 20 bagging here. What else? So, oh yeah, so I'm 20 bagging that one. But you can tell, you get wherever you see a double. But stuff like, let's change colors here. So, but stuff like Shaw, though, you know, I don't have on the right side. So that's full hodl, full hodl, full hodl. Yeah, like I'm done touching those. That, yeah. Okay, so like, and that kind of makes sense because the order of this is what I hold most of, second most, third most. So it goes, it's like reading, actually no, reading's left to right, and then up and down. This is up and down, then left to right. So, you know, first biggest, second biggest holding, third in terms of raw dollar value of it. And same for the trading. I'm 20 bagging and playing with, you know, this is the biggest holding in US dollar value, second, third, fourth, you know, six, seven, all that. So that's kind of a breakdown of what I'm doing. But anyway, the point I was trying to make is after when I was preparing this for you guys to see, for multiple reasons, I realized that what I'm doing, I'm 80-20ing it right now. And I realized that maybe that is actually, so I haven't actively been thinking about it. I didn't really plan it, but it's kind of interesting in retrospect now that I'm seeing it, that we are in a no trade zone per my recent video that I just posted. And, you know, having an 80-20 type of strategy during a no trade zone is that's pretty solid. Now, when shit gets hot, I want this to be 50 or high, like, yeah, maybe higher. I'm shooting for the freaking moon, you know, this bull run, because I'm so far in the green, it doesn't matter. And my entries are so safe that the chance of me losing money, unless the bear market happens on my face and takes a poop on my face in September and I'm not expecting it, that'd probably be the only way I take severe losses, because I'm a very well practiced entry trader. But anyway, so, you know, I might bump up my active stuff to like 60. That's, yeah, and then have a 60-40. Oh, and I think this might start happening. I mean, if Bitcoin keeps screaming, it could, if it gets past 60,000, closes a 4-hour candle, I'll probably shoot some more stuff over this way and try to get this to 50% within KuCoin, right? You know, and I play some on other exchanges, but I just like KuCoin so much for several reasons, because you can do, you know, light leverage as an American. You can, you know, microcap, altcoin, gem capital of the world. Like there's so many, and the trading fees are so good. They're way better than other exchanges that Americans can use. I'm not going to name any names, but anyway. So I think so I didn't really plan this, okay, first off. And that kind of in retrospect means, well, I kind of caught myself. I probably should be planning this a little more because I'm so busy with other things right now in the community that I haven't really focused on myself. And I haven't traded very much. My most recent trades are trying to get more play. Even though I'm taking slightly unsafe entries on the daily scale, I think on the weekly scale, as long as I buy and, you know, take a nap for 7 days, no matter what I'm going to do, it's going to be a safe trade. Even if I'm seeing big green candles on the 4-hour, it could easily come back down and come here and I miss out on all that. I'm thinking weekly with play. So so anyway, yeah, I'm trying to get a lot of this. And so once I do though, I will move it over here, and I might move over 50% of it or even 80%. And that's kind of how this became 80%. That's what I've been doing. So then I just 20 bag this and use my 20% holdings of that one coin, not my whole portfolio. I will use 20% of my play to, like, let's say it screams up, makes a range, screams up, makes a range, and then makes new highs, like price action of play, right? I will, so once it does this and I get signals to sell, I will sell here, you know, buy on the, like a higher low. And then once it moves back up after, and say like this is a 50% dip, this is, and I buy back here. Once it gets back to the top of range, that's doubling your money. A 50% dip, once it goes back up, is a 100% move. You double your money. It's so powerful. But anyway, so like that's what I mean by 20 bags. I'm using this side of my portfolio to do this crap. I'm playing with ranges. Or what I'll do is, if my 20 bag of play hits a range and it's doing something like BEPRO is, I think it's going to go sideways for a long time, I will put all of that into Bitcoin or Tether and I will focus on one of these other coins, looking to see which one's going to have a breakout, right? And then I'll market buy it. Oh, by the way, 𝐴𝐶AT, folks, heads up, 𝐴𝐶AT, I think that's a dead project. I think the bots are going to buy it anyway, so I already put in my limit sell orders like for 300% run, because people's bots don't look into white papers, they don't look into the Twitter, they just buy crosses. And the weekly cross of the 10 EMA crossing above the 21 EMA is, I think it's happening, and I think it actually broke out, had a failed breakout, it's retesting, and it should break out pretty soon. So just heads up, this is a dead project. But anyway, so, you know, if play with my 20 bag, if I think play like really screams and I think it's going to go sideways for a long time, what I'll do is I will sell all of my 20 bag of play, but keeping 80% of play over here. And I'll put it into Bitcoin or Tether, and then I'll be seeking which one of these is getting ready to have a breakout, or, you know, which one has had a 50% dip. And then if, let's say, West has a big dip, I will buy that, market buy that dip, or no, I'll set limit buys or market if it's in the middle of a dip, whatever. I'll buy the dip, and then I will immediately, after I buy that, or after the limit sells hit or limit buys hit, I will immediately put in my limit sell orders for 100% gains or doubling my money. And then once West goes back up to the top of the range and I double my money, I have made notes, for example, that, hey, that actually was my allocation to play, right? And now this 20 bag is now bigger than a 20 bag because although I originally moved 80% over here of play, this is now no longer 80. This is now no longer 20. I don't know the math behind that if you doubled it, but it might be something like 70-30 now, right? So now it's my 30 bag because I accumulated, right? But I still have the same amount of play over here. So this is my mentality cross HODL positions and my 20 bag positions, right? So this is what I mean by 20 bagging on a 10,000 foot hot air balloon view down to the earth. Yeah, so that's how I'm playing my KuCoin portfolio. This is what I'm doing. So that's the second point I wanted to make, how I'm thinking about it. I caught myself in a mistake that, you know what, I got so caught up in trying to prepare for April for my Patreon community that I haven't even been managing my own portfolio, mostly because I have really safe entries and I'm far into the green pretty much no matter what happens, unless the bear market takes a poop on my face immediately. But so I'm comfortable kind of like being inactive. Besides I've been buying this. But you know, once I maintain a better schedule and I can actually focus on me for, I don't know, an hour a day, that is what I do. I use this one way, and I try to keep sending more and more and more this way. So however, sometimes I do just let my 20 bag keep growing, and instead of sending some more as it grows, instead of sending some BEPRO over here to my HODL position, I will just keep letting it compound. So pretty soon, like this gets so big, it's now 50% of my holdings and 50% over here. And honestly, I maxed out my BEPRO staking, so I really don't have much BEPRO in my main account. It's mostly staking, but just to clarify, like BEPRO would probably be first if I weren't. I think I did buy a crap ton of this, and it's done very well. I told y'all in that video when I was in my car, 1.8 million cap. The KuCoin CEO is its advisor. It's got a good game plan. What it's trying to accomplish is not a saturated space like Ethereum killer or you know, DeFi. Even though DeFi is hot, but it's saturated. What this is doing, it's not quite in its own space. I think what Shaw's doing, like that is its own space. That's really neat. I'm not going to sit here and talk about and review white papers, but if you haven't looked into Shaw, like, what it's trying to accomplish is pretty freaking unique, and so is this. Anyway, I told y'all, like, I've seen some ridiculous gains, and honestly, you know, I fully expect that just buying, okay, so I'll reveal one coin, how much I bought. So when it was under 2 million, so this was under 2 million cap, I think I bought like 4,500 bucks of it. You know, because it was a riskier move. And so actually I'll just let you know. So this is the power of small alts, people. Okay, watch. And if you're newer to this channel and you're a buyer and prayer of 𝐿ME and all that stuff, okay, well, let me show you. 4,500 bucks, okay? And this is something that 𝐿ME can never do this run. This is something that Cardano can never do. It is mathematically impossible. Never happen. Unless you can get a site that you can 100x long Cardano and you catch it perfectly without getting liquidated. Okay, then you can make some serious freaking cash. 100x longing Cardano, actually. Even if it only goes up to $3, I mean, or $4, like, you can make a lot of money with a lot of leverage, but you'll more likely lose it. Okay, okay, my brain. I obviously need more coffee. Okay, so this is the power of small alts, okay? If I can be super transparent with my one position. So because I bought it, so I'll just show you what I was thinking when I bought it. So this is why I announced it to my viewers when I only had like 800 subs, right? Like no Patreon. It was, this cross here had happened. And this is what ACAT's doing. It had a failed run and it came back down. Let me change this. It came back down to, it came back, failed run, came back down to test the cross. It tested the cross. And I was telling people about this after it had tested the cross, and it was about here. I was like, yo, everybody, 1.8 million cap, cool looking project. CEO is, the CEO of KuCoin is one of its advisors. This is kind of a big deal. Like, this could make you a millionaire, right? I let you know. And at the time, I don't even think I bought it yet. I was letting you know in my car. Or maybe I had bought it at the time. I don't know. Because I didn't have a big following, so I didn't feel guilty for talking about it after I bought it. But anyway, but I would now, though. Anyway, yeah, so this is the power. 4,500 bucks. Once I get this line, I have $1 million of it, of just that one coin. Okay? And it getting to 10 cents is not, I mean, hell, if it does even half of what Verasity has done in terms of percentage over its all-time high. Look, Verasity did 1,000% over its all-time high on the US dollar pairing. This is only 400% past its all-time high. The vast majority of altcoins are going to pass their all-time high by a mile. And sometimes they're going to pass them by 10,000%. Right? Because Viacoin is very likely, just like it happened in the last bull run, it passed its other all-time high by like 20,000%. Or no, more than that. Because it went on a 250,000% run. It 250x, like it was a big deal. And from the bottom this time it'll probably like 180x. So you know, each bull run that a coin's around, it x's less and less. But anyway, yeah, this is the power of small alts, and you can't ever do this with Cardano with no leverage. You can't even do this with 𝐿ME. You can't even do this with Harmony, buying it now with 4,500 bucks. It won't happen. It is not mathematically it is not mathematically possible if you no, it just isn't. And to understand why, you have to know what market cap is. The US dollar value doesn't matter. It only matters roughly when you sell. But as you're determining, should I buy this? Is this a good buy? And watching it all the way up, the only thing that freaking matters are your percent gains, which is based off of the market cap. You judge it by the market cap only. I think this coin will go from 1.8 million cap to 180 million cap. Therefore, I think I will 100x my money. If you do it by the dollar value, oh, I think it'll be to $1. You're not thinking about the market cap. Okay, that means it has to get as big as Ethereum or whatever, right? That ain't gonna happen. You can't think about ROI with dollars, because that means you're just forgetting about the market cap, and there's likely a ceiling of market cap much lower than what you're thinking dollar value wise. Like, there are so many clueless people out there who think Cardano to like $100 or gosh, whoa. I don't mess with the XRP army. I'm not going to say, should I? I think there are a lot of XRP fans who think it can get to $10,000. And I feel that it's possible. XRP army, don't attack me. I know you're strong. Don't attack me. My Cryptillion and Crypto Crackhead army is not quite huge yet. I think the $10,000 value of XRP would require a market cap that is like bigger than all world economies combined or something. Therefore is impossible. Even if it does become the world reserve currency. Then it would probably hit over $1,000, like if that actually happened. If it became the world currency and everybody actually used it, like then it would hit over $1,000, absolutely. But the $10,000 stuff, I mean, come on, people. But okay, so nothing bad about XRP. I'm just thinking math. I'm leaving you guys alone and gals. Okay, all right. Leave me alone, XRP people. I know you're out there. I don't mess with your army. I just piss on Cardano people. Their army isn't that strong because they all got wiped out and they're all gone and they haven't built up their army again because it went down 98.77%. They're all gone. Their army isn't big because they're all left. And all the YouTube shillers are baiting more people into it. Oh my God. Poor people. So anyway, yeah, that's the power of small alts. Okay. All right. So we got to start moving here. Okay, here we go. We got BEPRO, MTV. Do we want to look at what MTV is doing real fast? And the rest of this, I'm going to scream through this, people. Okay. I think I'm going to make that promise. Okay. So what has happened here, if you can zoom out, is look at this. This is a very aggressive run, right? I think it was like 500, 800% or something like that. So the chance of just going up and up and up and up and up, I mean, it's not very high because it's got to cool down and let, it's got to let stuff on the weekly catch up, right? You got to get down to get up, and your weekly indicators really need to catch up. So if you're wanting to think about, okay, if I'm playing around with 20 bags right now and I want to use them as optimally as possible, for example, I buy and in 2 days it's doubled. I think that buying MTV right now would not set you up for that. I think your money would be locked into it until it hits this, and that could be mid-April, so a couple weeks. I think a couple weeks would be a good time to consider MTV as one of those fast turnarounds. I went in and out with a 20 bag because I sold a 20 bag at BEPRO and I want to buy a breakout or, I want to double it quickly so then I can go buy more BEPRO as it's at the bottom of the range. That's how I play. I just described that. And so I do cross coins a lot. So if my BEPRO bag, if I did sell at the top, and I think once it goes to the bottom that it's not going to race up to the top, which is kind of like now, I would move my BEPRO 20 bag to something like this that I think is breaking out, even though I don't think it will break out right now. It'll take a couple weeks. Let's say fast forward in future, I would take my BEPRO bag by here. I would automatically put in my limit sells here. Let's see how high up that is. Yeah, that's 3.2 times your bags. That's pretty aggressive. I mean, but that's where I would put it. Yeah. And then I can buy 3 times more BEPRO, hopefully before it starts screaming up to $4 or $4 cents. So anyway, so that's MTV. I think it's going to chill for a bit. Viacoin, yep, it didn't crash. Good. So yeah, it's staying pretty strong. I think, okay, folks, for those Viacoin, so look at what the trend has been. So going back to here, this is back early March. And even here, I mean, look at all this, right? So what has been the trend? So we're looking at the daily. See this? I think the trend is just playing off of the daily 21 and the 10. And because this run was not very aggressive, all right? This is not much of a run. I don't think it has to correct very much. So for new viewers, what I just said, putting those 2 dots together, what is the 3rd dot in that same straight line? What am I about ready to say? Trend, not a big run. What is that saying? Think about it. Because you don't just need to sit here and listen to me. You need to think about this for yourself too. I want you to be able to do this. All right. What I'm about ready to say is I think the trend will continue. I think it's just going to bounce off this and keep going. And if you zoom out and kind of look why, on your origin lines here, which I do have posted on publicly on TradingView. I changed my name to Cosas Verdes, so you should be able to find me now. It was Inferno24, but Inferno spelled incorrectly, INFIRNO. But anyway, yeah. So if you see these master trend lines, I don't think this will be much resistance. I think it'll bust there. I think it's just going to bust right through this, and I think it's going to overshoot this resistance. And I think it's going to use it as support, chill for like 2 whole months, October, November, and then it'll make like a 3, 4 to 10x gain. I mean, not 10x from 20 bucks. It could make like a 5x gain in just a matter of 3 weeks or 8 weeks at the end. And the reason I think that is because that's what happened last time. Look, that's how it moves. Look, that's how it moves. Oh yeah, the paint thing I had up, the paint doc, I forgot the bottom, and I just said what I wrote down there. I know how this moves, right? So and it's probably gonna do this again. So see, okay, but look, so on Bitcoin, see how it passed this same line, right? Look, it's the same line, folks. See that? See that? This is the same line. So I think it's going to pass it, overshoot it again. See, look, overshoot, come down and rest on it, right? So I know how Viacoin moves. That's why I am so confident that it will be around $10, maybe somewhere between $8 and $13 by July 4th. Because look, we're at the bottom of the screen, July 5th. There we go. It could happen in June, honestly. I think I'm overshooting the time frame. But anyway, yeah. So so that paint doc. Okay, so this is what I meant here. So I forgot to talk about this. So here, you just can't do too many. So what I mean by just can't do too many is you can't be actively doing this with that many coins. And honestly, I'm only active with, I was with BEPRO, but I think BEPRO is going sideways. So I'm only active with 5 at a time. Okay, the other ones in here that aren't a part of my 5, they're more something like what I'm doing is I have already bought it at a safe entry. I put in my limit sells at a 20 bag line or a 100 bag. I think I'm 100 bag in ACAT, for example. So viewers, like, I wouldn't necessarily buy a run of ACAT because I've already bought it and I'm looking to sell on you. So don't buy my bags from me, please. Don't do it. I would stay N plus is a dead coin unless it's really low. If you see a safe entry, it's probably not a horrible idea, but I would stay out of that one. Anyway, so let's say 5 of these. So let's just pick 1, 2. Which ones am I doing? 3, 4. Yeah, actually it is the top 5. That's interesting. Yeah, these are the ones I'm most active on. Okay. So these are the ones that I'm studying how they move. So not everything moves like Viacoin, but I've been staring at it so long that I know how it moves. But for these ones, something like this and this, what I'm doing is I had a safe entry. Right after I got entered there, I automatically set my lines to sell. Okay, limit sell, not market sell and dump the price. Limit sells cannot dump price at all under any circumstances ever. It's impossible. It can really only make price climb. It's liquidity, and price needs liquidity to move up, similar to how people shorting have to have people longing to short. It's the same concept. So anyway, I already have my limit sells and I'm not looking at it anymore. I'm just waiting until one day I wake up and I see BTC here when it wasn't there before, or I see Tether here if it's selling in USDT pair. I see Tether when I didn't have it the other day. That means when one of these pops up, that means one of these sold that I'm not staring at because I bought it at a safe entry. I'm done looking at it. I'm just waiting till it flies and it hits my stuff. It all sells. And now the next day I have BTC sitting there or Tether sitting there, right? So it's really important. So that's pretty much what this blue area is saying. Those two things combined. So when you have active trading, like, and you're actively dealing with some portion of your portfolio, you really should only be actively trying to buy dips and, top of ranges for about 5 at a time. You simply you can't do too many more because you need to know how that coin moves. And for every coin more than 5 or whatever number for you, you're setting yourself up to make a mistake. And the rest of them that you have in your 20 bag zone, or whatever you want to call this, your trading side, your active trading side, they need to be a safe entry. You have limit sells for, let's say, a 230% run, or wherever you have established your lines with a logical thought process, perhaps not just a percent run. Usually you use the weekly candles to set support and resistance lines. You need to sell around those. That's how you do it. But anyway, usually it's something like that. And once I get my 3.3x out of it, it turns into BTC. It shows up automatically. And I see it the next day, unless it happens when I'm sitting at my computer, I hear ring, 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 and then it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun when that happens. Then I don't have to wait till the next day. I see it there. But anyway, so that's how I play. So all of these, I'm just waiting for ring to happen, and I'm not looking at it. I'm done looking at it. I'm just looking for BTC to magically appear. That's all I'm looking for out of all of these. You see what I'm saying? In all of these, I am actively trading dips, looking for breakouts, looking for this, looking for that. And I'm constantly looking for more small cap alts that will be breaking out so I can add that to either here or to here. So I can just buy and forget, right? I'm constantly looking to add to this. Or one that, something like play where it's a really low cap and I have fairly decent thoughts about it. Not as strong as I did with MTV or even Silo or BEPRO, but like, that could be a good one, people. But anyway, and the lack of Twitter activity over about 5 months from June to, December or last year or something, it's because they were going through acquisition, right? So when you're going through an acquisition, you're not really announcing that stuff and publicizing stuff. So yeah, there is a gap in Twitter activity. But yeah, that's why. And now they have a really solid company that owns it and they're working towards a lot of stuff. But anyway, so yeah, I'm constantly looking to add to this side of my portfolio. But as I add, I'm not going to add too many to my active stuff. But if I see a coin that's really hot, like play, I will add it there, and then I will move ZEL out into something like this and forget about it and just wait until it gets to this point. Does that make sense? So my rule for myself is 5. All right, I forgot to say that. Sorry. Buy a coin. All right, Silo. Okay, now I'll scream through the... It's the same thing. It's just going to range. And I'm not super confident that this line's going to hold. It might come down and retest this. So it might Silo. I mean, obviously in the no trade zone, right? I sure as hell wouldn't enter this right now. If I was damn determined to get Silo, I would put limit buys around 0.00466. And I would try to snag. And what happens is, now that it did that and it comes right back up, the probability of you ever being in the red for a loss is super low. Like statistically under 10%, way under 10%. If you buy it here hoping for it to go up, since it's in the freaking middle of this, you have a 50% chance of being down. Does that make sense what no trade is? So Silo is a no trade. And if you bought down here, selling here is probably not the most ambitious idea. You would want to sell up here, right? So like either way, you should be a sideliner, okay? So don't enter Silo if you haven't gotten it right now. Like I shouldn't say that. I am not a financial advisor. That's not financial advice. I wouldn't do that. All right, Silo's done. Tone. Ooh, man, that's weak. We're on the 2-hour scale. Maybe not so weak. Yeah, that's weak. It went under its 21. Shit. I mean, that could be an excellent buy. Okay, I see what's happening. Yeah, it just went down to test this. Okay, so yeah. So it just went right back down to test the... So, okay, look. So it looked like it was establishing a base here, but then it went back down to its prior low base. That's what I think Silo could do, right? That's what I was just saying. It looks like it might be forming a higher base, but I think it could easily come back down and test this. And that's exactly what Tone just did. It's the same thing. It's the same concept. Right? So what Tone just did is what I think is, I don't know if it's likely, but it's so, the probability is so it's decent enough to where if I wanted to buy it, I would absolutely be putting in my limit buys at the previous low of the range. And so imagine this isn't here and we're looking at it here. I would have said the same thing. I was like, yeah, I'm not too confident about this. I think if I'm going to get it, I'm going to try to snag it. So right now, silo is right here, right? It hasn't done this yet, and it might not. But if we were sitting here and this price history didn't exist, I would say, like this is not a good entry. If you want to enter, try it down here, and that would have worked. Does it always work? No. But that's not the point. It does. You can't trade perfectly. You trade profitably over time. And if you want to trade profitably, that means for silos a no trade right now. Like you don't want to. You're not just guessing which way it's going to go. You just want to be on the house odds. That's all. All you want is house odds before you click. That's it. That's it. That's it. Verasity. I mean, you got some really nasty divergence. This is ticking down. Guys, I mean, honestly, I would, if I held Verasity, but I accidentally, where did I sell? I think I sold 160% past here. Oh, I made an orange line, I made a yellow line, so I sold here. So how much of the run did I actually miss out on? Yeah, 2.6 times my money. But still, I was in and out, and I actually have more than two. So, okay, so for here, I'm actually glad I sold here and took profits while I watched it scream higher, because look how much higher it's gone from the point I sold. Look, that's 3.1 times my money, right? So $100 is now $314 per 100. I've already done more than that with what I sold because I caught other runs that weren't losing gas. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's why taking profits here, even if it does a little bit more, it doesn't matter. People, it's running out of gas. It's freaking running out of gas. Why don't you just take profits? Even if it does go up a little higher, it's not going to do another 1,000% or 500%. It's out of gas. It can't do it. It's not possible. Like even if a big YouTuber talks about it, it's not going to happen. There are going to be too many sellers, right? The psychology of sideliners, these people, okay, of those people. So the psychology of sideliners becoming sellers will be too high if it makes another run. That's out of gas. That's what it means. Out of gas, relative strength. So even if you held Verasity out and it goes up just a little bit more, how much of it? So say it does that. How much? That's 62% run. Who cares? Go find a breakout where it does 300%. That's a fresh. It has a lot of pressure. It has a lot of these people on the verge of becoming one of these people. Do you think Verasity is on the verge of turning a lot of sellers and sideliners into buyers? Hell no. It's the opposite. So that's why who cares if it freaking goes up? What you are seeing here is not going to convert these people to a buyer. Why? Because right now it's mostly buyers. And the strength of that, they've been buyers so long they're getting weak. They're getting ready to be converted to these people. Do you see what I'm saying here? So that's why it doesn't matter if you have Verasity in terms of just, you don't want to trade perfectly. Stop trying to oh, I want to hold it till it's the top. No, because you can make so much more money somewhere else. Now that you know almost everybody's a freaking buyer, but these people are tired. They're tired. They're getting ready to become these people. Does this make sense? That's why you shouldn't be worried about it going up to here if you sell. Because there is another coin where there have been and currently are a lot of these people who are sitting there lurking, you know, in the darkness saying, ooh, you know what? I think I'm going to become a buyer. There are plenty of those coins where it's going to get a fresh run, 300%, 400%. So why hold out for a 60 to 80% run here? I don't get it. I don't get why that's so scary to sell here. Who freaking cares if it goes up a little bit more? These buyers are going to become these people soon. It's almost there. Okay, so okay, hopefully that makes sense. Shaw, still, nothing's changed. It's just, it's forming in a base. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Let's look at the weekly. I mean, it looks like it's going to hold strong. So if Shaw were going to come back down here to this line, I think it would have done it hard and furious, because it's the two important lines crossing always, or almost always, it likes to suck price into it. And since it's already crossing and this hasn't screamed down to touch it, I think price is going to go sideways, maybe a tiny bit down, while this red line here, while this red line, well, if I can make it red, while this red line catches up. Yeah, I think this is going to go sideways until late. I mean, for perhaps a month. It could take a month. And the statistically most likely way that it would take less than a month, if it does come down, you gotta get down to get up. I think coming down would make it go higher faster. Does that sound weird? Yes, but that's the reason why. You gotta let these things catch up, people. You have to. Price will not, and that's another thing why taking profits in Verasity should make perfect sense. I just, like, I can see your Discord comments. I can see some of your comments and questions. Stop being scared of taking profits. You're in the green. Freaking be happy. But you just have to understand that you can make more green somewhere else that's not out of gas. Like, I don't think I ever, yeah, I probably did. I think in 2017, I probably did have a problem with that. But it's been so long that I don't remember what it feels like. So hopefully that, you know, the three different types of people converting to one or the other, hopefully I was able to relate that to you in a way that makes perfect sense. And if it didn't make sense, let me know in the comment section, because I kind of forget what that feeling's like. And so therefore, I don't know if I'm truly expressing it in a way that makes sense to you. So, but most of things I'm teaching you, I do know what it feels like actively, like, because I still have those feelings. So the hell am I looking at? ADB. Yeah, it's establishing a good base after it got a little too hot. So it got a little too hot. Yeah, this looks strong. I don't think it's going to go below there. It could dip down and test this line, or wick, you know, it could come down to like 0.60's 1242, but it's almost there already. So, I mean, where's the weekly indicators? Yeah, so it did get, how the hell big was this run? That's not very big. So this next, like, it might have more in it, folks. Yeah, I mean, it could easily ride off the daily 10. That's a pretty common play in the bull market, like 𝐻𝐼𝐴 was. It might just be waiting on the daily 21. So when you see ADB, like it's 21 daily moving average come down and price hits it, like that might be an okay play to move active 20 bags to try to make it so that you play the top of the range or a further breakout, and it happens within 48 hours. So therefore you can, you know, take all of that back out and move it back to BEPRO where it belongs or whatever. Once you see it with this creeping up and price getting towards it, that could convert a lot of sideliners and sellers into buyers. That moment could happen. Like that could easily happen. I don't think many people would become sellers once this catches up. Like with all this support here, I just don't think that's going to happen. So bull. Yeah, I'm at an hour, so I gotta finish this up. My old coin videos are typically an hour, so make sure you're watching this crap on ×2 speed, people. And plus, I sound like, once you watch me on ×2 speed enough, you won't want to go back. Like, assuming your English is good. If your English isn't great, maybe 1.5. We know what we're thinking about bull. Nothing's changed for like a month. Although that's good. I think that's good. Let's see what happened on the weekly. Okay, actually, here's something I haven't seen. This is something I have forgotten to look for. So a lot of times a breakout happens when one of its moving averages sets an all-time high. Does that make sense? But price isn't. You see what I'm saying? So look at the all-time high for the weekly 10. See that? It's here at this line. So the breakout of price to make all-time highs, it might be waiting on this to make an all-time high. And that's really what happened with Bitcoin. when it was at 10,000 something, it set all-time highs for its weekly 21. Even though it was half of what the all-time high was in price, it set all-time highs on its weekly 21 and it took off. So I'm surprised I haven't talked about this yet. Well, everything's up, so I mean, you can't focus on everything. But yeah, shit, that's a whole month from now. Crap. It could take another month, people, if that play is correct. It might not be waiting on that. It might just wait. It might just be waiting on price to get, roughly to the line, like here, like right at all-time highs, and then price will be confident enough sideliners and sellers. Actually, there really aren't many sellers here. There just aren't many buyers either, right? So among these three types of people, it's just a flicker of these people, a flicker that kind of like how, in physics, some very small particles flicker in and out of existence, right? So yeah, these are just flickering in and out of existence. And most people are here. That's what's happening with Bolt. And that's good. Like, it's building up pressure, right? Because these people, as we're sitting here freaking staring at it, pressure. Is it ready? Is it ready? Is it ready? It's ready. It's ready. It's ready. It's ready. It's ready. Yes, it's ready. Like, there's a lot of pressure building up. Like, I think this breakout, I don't know. I don't think it'll do better than Veracity's. That was freaking stupid. But I think it can get close to it. 𝐾𝐽2. Somebody asked me about this. I already covered this. So what you see here is what I think will happen. Okay, what are we looking at? Well, it's the weekly. I think you should be staring only at the weekly if you like 𝐾𝐽2, and you should wait until price closes at least 2 candles. I say 3, and look for that 4th to start taking off, crossing, it's crossing that level there. So if you want to move a 20 bag into 𝐾𝐽, right? If you want to move 20 bag into 𝐾𝐽, I wouldn't just wait for it to get past this, like on the first candle that closes above here, because I think it's going to come back down and hit this. I think it's got to close 2 candles, and then once the 3rd candle starts and that 3rd candle passes that line, if you see that happening and you're trying to play with the 20 bag, like to double it in 2 days, that would be a good moment to do it. So you could sell it up here, like put in your limit orders. It happens within 24 hours. Then take that back and put it back into BEPRO or wherever it belongs. That would be your play, because if you do it now, you're just going to be tying up your money, and you can't be growing it elsewhere, right? So why would you even do this? Even if you like it, why would you do that? Because if you're putting it into a breakout coin, whatever we've been looking at, even though I haven't found very many breakout coins recently, but anyway, like I said, singles this month, hit singles, no home runs. It's going to be boring. We're in no trade zone. Everything's pretty much no trade across the board. But yeah, I mean, if you like 𝐾𝐽2, right? Doesn't that mean you want to buy more 𝐾𝐽2, right? Obviously. So with the idea that it's statistically super probable that we need 3 weeks, assuming this week closes here, you need 3 more weeks until you're going to get a pop, right? In these 2 weeks you're waiting, why not take, let's say you have $100 that you want to use to buy 𝐾𝐽. Why don't you go find a couple breakouts in 3 weeks and make that $400 and come back and buy $400 𝐾𝐽 then? Why tie up your $100 here and keep it at $100? Why? If you like 𝐾𝐽, okay, as weird as this sounds, so I'm talking to myself, what I'm about ready to say, I'm not talking to my viewers. This is not financial advice. If you like 𝐾𝐽2, then don't buy 𝐾𝐽2 right now. Make sense? Tim talking to myself? Okay, N talking to myself. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just some, I don't know. I guess I'm not a random dude on the internet anymore, but yeah, I'm just a dude with a Yorkie under my feet chewing on one of my daughter's combs that is made out of wood and is making, no, it's not wood, hard plastic and making noise. All right, idea. Same with idea. If you like idea, Tim talking to myself, don't buy idea. Take your $100 with which you want to use, that you want to use to buy idea, grow it somewhere else, turn it into $400, now come back after it closes some strong candles, then buy it, because then it might start moving up. But until then, your $100 here stays $100. It will not become $400. So go find a way to make it $400 somewhere else. Right? Hopefully you're getting the pattern here. This is how you grow wealth. You don't do it by buying OMI and praying until the end of the year. That's not how you do it. It's not how you do it. This is how you do it. This is how we do it. All right. So Montel Jordan. All right. I haven't done any scales, so I don't know how that came out. But all right. Yeah, this is a green girthy dildos. Oh yeah. So like, okay. So the other day, let's look at a small time frame. So somebody said, so look at price. Price was actually price was like this. This is all you could see, right? And somebody in my Discord, I think I mentioned this yesterday. Somebody like, ooh, that looks awful. I bought it here. Now I'm down. You know, what should I do? What should I do? It's like, dude, look at the weekly, right? And again, I don't know if you appreciate, even though you said okay, and you know, that's kind of cool. You believe me, but don't just believe me. Okay. I think you probably should have asked, what do you mean by that? Unless you already knew what I meant. But so what happened was this was still a wick all the way down or something like that. And it was just a small candle because it got hot and it came all the way back down. Right. But still, that's still, so imagine none of this exists, right? This isn't here. We're just dealing with this. Like, look at this. Even though that 2 hour looked nasty with all that coming back down in your face and like a failed run, no, it wasn't. So even with this candle only being small, I knew right here that this is freaking bullish. Look, green week, green week, green week, green week, green week. And since none of these are a big run, right? And it doesn't need to cool its tits. What is green week after green week after green week? You know, it's not even coming down wicking very much. It's just ending the week and starting the week up. And when it got here, there's no wick down at all. It started the week and started going up. So I bought a lot more right there. Because what's happening here? There aren't many sellers here, but what's happening is sideliners are becoming buyers. That is bullish. Does that make sense? So that was what I meant by that. OLT. I kind of the same thing here. That looks pretty freaking good. It's like on the weekly. Like I'm going to keep it at that. That looked good. Credits. I mean, look how much room credits has to go. I mean, even if, see, the thing is with credits, yes, I think it's going to go way higher than this. But the thing is with this, though, it looks like it wants to come back down and test this, kind of like MTV did. It had a failed run. It came back down to test this, right? Or it could stop here on this line. But regardless, you know, I wouldn't, if I want credits, I don't buy credits right now because I will take my $100 and go grow it first and then come back when it's cool, like before it takes off. And now I buy $300 worth of credits. If I like credits, I don't buy credits now because it doesn't have a chance in hell of just screaming up, but other things do, right? Okay. Car vertical, yeah, the same thing, exact same thing. I think it's going to come down and retest this, and actually it might. So two important lines crossing. This is going to have a golden cross. Or no, not a golden cross. The 55 EMA, it's going to have an important cross. So what's happening is this cross is just sucking price down into it. And so not all of the weekly crosses of the red and the yellow have this overhead, like right here. So that's why this is behaving a little differently because it's getting sucked down into the cross, right? So when two important line cross, whether it's a horizontal, it could be a horizontal with the moving average or whatever. Or it could be moving averages with moving averages. As long as it's important and it's more than one and it's crossing, well, I guess to have a cross it has to be more than one. It's over 50% of the time, people. It can pull price down or pull price up. It's over 50% of the time. Like, it's a very common play. So if market sentiment truly is bearish and its price is under a certain cross, like it was with Bitcoin recently, that's why I continued my bearish sentiment, because I was like, yeah, it's just the cross is pulling it up. It happens more than 50% of the time, and then it just keeps going back down. So anyway, I think this is gonna, so what is this? ENQ? I think it's gonna, it's not gonna break this on first pass. So on the week, I'm on the weekly. I mean, let me see here. So here is the point where, you know, a lot of sideliners were getting anxious to become buyers. This is the point where these sellers became sideliners, or perhaps they became buyers. So you have an okay base there. That is okay, but what is your breakout? You've broken out almost double since then. I just don't think the psychology behind this breakout is, I don't think you have enough buy pressure to go on a 100% run, okay, double your money, and break out. I think this is going to do, it's going to do something similar that Bolt has done. I think it's going to make a line here. It's going to come up, get rejected. It's going to come like this. It's going to play here for a while. Like and honestly, I would bet money on that. I don't actually want to bet money, but I actually don't bet. So that's kind of why I'm like, be the house. I literally don't bet. I've only made, I bet I've only made about, I only bet. That was stupid. I think that, so if you call me stupid, I'll call you stupid, but I'll probably call myself stupid too. I think I've only made about 5 bets in my life. And the last one I made, won $500. Hasn't paid it yet, but he will. Well, he probably doesn't need to at this point. I don't care if he doesn't pay me, but he bet me that back in 2017 or 2018, a buddy bet me specifically that before January 1st, so by December 31st, 2020, Bitcoin will not be over $20,000. And it was like at 32,000. So it was like a 4-year bet. And it was kind of cool because Bitcoin was coming up to the 20,000 mark, got rejected, and it was December. But then just even in December, it went up like 12K before January 1st. So, or 28K before January 1st. So yeah, I won $500 on a 4-year waiting bet. And on my Facebook, that buddy, as Bitcoin, you know, went up to 14,000, went like this, and crashed down to 5,000. Like in this point, he was even leaving me stuff on my Facebook. You're not forgetting about our Bitcoin bet, are you? I'm like, no, I still think I'm going to be right. Actually, I'm 95% sure I'll be right. Even though it's at $5,000 right now, and it's only a year and a half away, I don't care. I'm almost certain I'm right, and I was. So anyway, because I saw the moving averages, you know, being higher than they ever were before, like the 200, right? This, what is this, ZEL? It's made a good run. How big is it from this breakout? That's actually not very big. This probably has more in it, folks. This is not done. Now, I think it's a no trade zone. I sure as hell wouldn't be entering right here. Now, like it might come up to here. It's probably going to go to one of these two and maybe form a base. Oh, I already drew this. So yeah, what this red stuff's doing, that's what I think will happen. Yeah. Yeah, so I already drew this. Okay. Oh! This. Damn. Did anybody in my Cryptillion and Crypto Crackhead army see this? This is going to fly. Look, I mean, look what happened. Look at the psychology behind it. Look, what did it allow to catch up? The weekly 10. This shit's taken off. Yeah, that's a very, very strong move. Would I enter that move? You know, so some people might say, but the breakout point's here. No, sometimes you got to look at the weekly. It broke the weekly candle, the high of the weekly candle. Like, that's just takeoff time. You can't always be looking at like the 2-hour. Oh, but the all-time high is here. This is the breakout. It just needed to pass this weekly. It needed to pass this. Yeah, this is gonna freaking take off. I bet since it's a small cap, it could easily do like 400% from that point. Oh, that's thousands. It could easily go up to 3.6 cents. Easily. I actually bet that would be the lower end of what I think it's going to go. This is strong. This is a blue sky. So what, this is actually really strong. So a blue sky breakout's one thing, right? Because it had it, if I can erase this crap, it had it here, right? But then it failed, and it came down to build support on the blue sky breakout point, and now it's breaking out after allowing this 10 to catch it. Yeah, this is going to go high. Honestly, I mean, it's kind of buying glory. How much past it is? It's 33% past. I mean, if you want to try this, I think you have house odds. But like I said in my other video, I've been in this situation so many times where then I find myself 30% down because it might come back down. You know, since it's already tested this as support, it might come back down and test this as support. It could, you know, and I don't freaking want to be 30% down. So I already bought it. I bought it at a good point. I'm good. I'm not going to buy more right now. Now, if I saw it as it was crossing this, I probably would have, but that was 33% ago. I'm not entering that. Do you have house odds that you won't lose money in the next 2 days? Yeah, but not very good house odds. This is cap looks just like both play and whatever the hell else I was looking at that I said, this is good. I mean, honestly, I bet the next candle is going to be green as well. This is very good. Now, would I enter here? No, I don't enter this kind of stuff, folks. I try to find this before it happens. This is not my trading style. I'm not chasing this, and I don't think you should either. What I'm saying this, if you hold this, like, I mean, honestly, this week could end here, next week there. Yeah, I would honestly guess this week ends strong, the next week's green, and the week after's green, and this could really take off. Yeah, like this is building momentum. Yeah, I can easily go that high. Yeah, that's only 136% from here. Cero. All right, I think I got to end here. I don't think I can keep doing this. Cero's an anonymous coin that looks strong as hell. I mean, look how much pressure it was able to build up of buying pressure, right? So that's what I'm talking about. MHC versus Bitcoin, not versus the dollar. So versus the dollar, MHC MetaHash, which it's a damn good project, folks. I don't talk about white papers much because they don't help you take profits. But if you want to look at MetaHash's page 6 of their white paper, whew, it's fire. And if you look at this, look how much room it has to go. Even though if you move to MHC US dollar pairing, it looks hot. But look at this. Kind of like the Viacoin thing. And this is kind of what Cardano did. I mean, this could easily have like 70x in it, like on the low end. This could be fire. Map. Okay, I think I got to be done. Map. Oh, breaking out. There you go. Map's good. West. Yeah, so West, I wouldn't lock up my money in here until it's closing above this because I want to take my $100 and turn it into 400 first. And as it's starting to close candles here, then I'll buy it, right? CPC. Even though I technically already bought a little bit, but whatever. I didn't buy very much. Yep. So yeah, people, if you check into CPC, this one might be a good one to keep an eye on. Okay, here's why. Remember, like I said, MTV, I knew it was going to get hot because it had a failed breakout, came back down to retest this, right? And that failed breakout is happening on a lot of these coins because this 55 EMA is at the same spot on all of them. It hits the 55 EMA, comes back down, test it, build some buy pressure, and this could happen next week. Like, I would put on my calendars for next week to look at CPC versus BTC. I think my only trades there. Yeah, I actually, I should put on my calendar. I would absolutely look at this next week. Yeah, because it's not just going to turn around on this weekly red candle and just go like that. It'll wait till the next one. And it'll probably wait until the third day. So what would that be? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So yeah, like Tuesday, Wednesday, next week, this could start getting hot. Last one. Holy crap, when did I buy this? I hope I bought this more than a couple weeks ago. Yeah, the dude. And I think it was a YouTube, yeah, I think I bought the breakout. Yeah, that's strong. I mean, this is looking good. Now it's too hot. I mean, this might be profit taking. Well, yeah, profit takings when it comes back up here and starts looking like it's going to fail, kind of like Verasity. But I wouldn't take profits right now because of this wick. But I would probably wait till it does something like Verasity kind of barely pokes its head above, and then I would take profits, because this is a big run. Like this is, like how big is it from the breakout? Yeah, that's pretty big. It's going to start ranging. So if you like opacity, you know, this is going to be top of the range. This will probably be the bottom of the range where the weekly wick is. And, you know, what the hell did I just do? Am I even on the same thing? Yeah. Yeah, I would try to catch it here and then sell it here. And let's see how big of that would be. So was this the 50-100 thing? Watch. Nope, 30. So you'll 60% up your money. Yeah, but it's probably not going to go below this. But you can catch that 30% dip and resell it at the top if you want to be in and out and then move that 20 bag. Like let's say the money with which you buy this dip down to here is from BEPRO, but BEPRO's not moving, so you're trying to grow it. Like catching this dip here, where is that? At point, like I think it's 4 zeros, so 0.00045, 34. Catching it here and just right when you catch it, doesn't matter, just automatically put your limit sells. And I would actually put them a little lower than this. I would put them about where the candle closes. I would put my limit sells about here, like somewhere in this area. And then you know, you're not quite doubling your money, but $100 becomes like 170 in that case, right? Or $1,000 becomes 1,700 if you catch it here, sell it here, and then you go buy more BEPRO, $700 more BEPRO, with more than your 1,000. So anyway, that's what we got. I gotta go. My wife is wanting me to put the baby in bed, so I'm out. Last thing, patrons, yo, I got like 400 unread messages. I've already read like 400. I mean, once I get a better schedule, I can look at them, but like, I'm trying to reserve my time to set you up to provide you with some serious freaking value come April, right? Because your card's about ready to be charged. I don't want to let you down. So that's why I'm focusing my efforts elsewhere. Like my time has to be there. So I'm not looking at your messages because I don't think it's fair to you. Even though there might be some important stuff in there, I think to serve you best, I think my time has to be elsewhere. So I don't mean to make anybody mad. I really don't. It's just I'm one person. Maybe I should hire somebody to go through them and, you know, let me know of the most important ones that I need to be addressed instead of, hey, check out this coin, which I can't do, people. I can't do that. I can't do it. Can't do it. So, you know, don't join my Patreon to ask me, hey, about this coin, because I'm trying to show you how to do that for yourself. And I'm giving you a community in which you can all take what I've been saying here and come up with your own plans with each other in that community. That's the point of it, right? Like I can't be doing that all the time, and which is probably about 30 to 40% of them. So anyway, peace out. Thanks for tuning in. And in the future, when you see it's over an hour long, just watch it on ×2 speed, and you just got Timified.